Angela.
I'm Leah.
And we out here.
Hey y'all, we are at the Dayton Aviation Heritage National Historical Park, and this museum system includes this museum, so the Wright Museum, the Wright Brothers Museum, the Paul Laurence Dunbar Museum, as well as the Air Force Museum. And we did get to see all of those museums, and we'll have a video for each of those. Last week you saw Dunbar, this week you're seeing the Wright Brothers, and next week you'll see the bike shop from the Wright brothers, and then you'll see the Aviation Museum. So this museum takes a couple hours to get through. They have this film that you can watch there, and you can also find it online if you don't have time to watch it while you're in the while you're in the museum. We didn't have time to watch it in the museum because we were trying to see all three museums in one day. We started off with the Paul Laurence Dunbar, then we headed here, and then we headed over to the Aviation. The Aviation Museum you will not finish in one day, so don't plan to. I'm sorry, the Air Force Museum you won't finish in one day. Now, because all three of those museums are a part of the same system, they try to connect them, right? So here, while we're in the Wright Museum, on the screen you'll see a Paul Laurence Dunbar second book, and you can kind of swipe through it and read it, which I thought was really cool. They also have a few areas on the second floor where you can read one of his newspapers, one of his newspaper articles from the Dayton Tattler, and then they also have the film about Paul Laurence Dunbar's life showing in this museum as well. It seems to be the same film that was at the Paul Laurence Dunbar house. Okay, um, so you can check out when you go to either of those three museums, you tend to learn a little bit about all three things. So here you see again Paul Laurence Dunbar. This is all on the first floor. And then on the second floor, they have actually they have Paul Laurence Dunbar on the second floor too with the printing press. But so they have lots of stuff on this first floor. They walk you through the Wright brothers' business ventures, right? So they had a bike shop where they created, so they made bikes and they sold them. They also did the print and press, so they printed local newspapers such as the Dayton Tattler. They also had a airplane business, right? So they tested and created different types of airplanes, and they seemed to have some type of school where they taught people how to fly. And but when we went to that bike shop and the guide was telling us about it, he said it wasn't too safe. Like people were falling out of the sky, people were falling out those planes. So I don't know, it didn't seem too safe. So this would have been an example of their storefront, right? The Wright brothers were dedicated to their businesses. Neither of them married. They seem to prefer to spend time together and with their businesses and different ideas and innovations and making money. They had siblings, all their siblings were married, so this was something that those two preferred between themselves. Now, the storefront was pretty cool. It was interactive. So this is also great for children to visit. The museum has lots of things where children can touch things, interact with things, and really enjoy it. But really, it is a place where, I mean, we went by ourselves. We're two adults, so adults will enjoy it. If you, especially if you love learning about history, historical figures, and apparently these two men are really popular in Ohio, especially in Dayton. Okay. Now, be sure to like this video. Comment, let us know if you plan on going to this museum or if you've been here before. And then subscribe to our channel. When you subscribe, you get consistent content from us. We post weekly videos and we post shorts about 3 times a week. So you'll get a lot of stuff from us, okay? Like this video, comment, subscribe to our channel, support.
Look at this one. Couldn't pay me. I ain't getting in it with you, bro.
So now we are in the aviation portion of the museum. I thought this was really cool because they didn't just focus on the successes of the Wright brothers, they also talked about some of the challenges that they experienced, right? So initially, they were having a lot of challenges getting the airplanes in the air and being successful in this portion of their business. When they initially started making airplanes, they were actually using bike parts because remember they started off making bicycles. So like things like the handlebars from the bikes were used to steer the planes, which was pretty interesting, innovative, interesting, or scary. I don't know. But as I stated, I would not be one of the people to get in those airplanes because I mean, it was all trial and error. They didn't necessarily, start off with success. And sometimes people were injured in terms of testing these airplanes, falling out of the sky, falling out of the planes. My favorite part of this museum was actually upstairs. We don't get to the upstairs yet, but they had this really cool exhibit on parachutes, and the guy who worked up there was really friendly, really knowledgeable, and really helpful, and let us try on some of the things. So you'll see that coming up towards the end of this video, which I am excited for you all to see. Hope you like it and think it's fun too. In this video, some actors recreated what these trials would have looked like with the Wright brothers and the people that were trying out these planes that they were creating. So initially, it started off as like them trying to just keep the plane in the air, right? And they would be like jumping off hills and cliffs and things of that nature. And this is kind of like what they would have experienced or what they have documented of their experiences just in visual form. So after that, we do head upstairs. Upstairs, there is the Paul Lawrence. They have a lot of stuff. So they have the print and press, which you'll see, as well as the Paul Lawrence Dunbar areas. So here they showed off some of the Dayton Tattler. Here is a copy of one of the newspapers here. And then we're heading into the print and press area of the Wright Brothers Museum. So remember, they had a newspaper business where they would print out newspapers. So they kind of recreated what their newspaper shop looked like. And then as well had some examples of the newspapers that they printed. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like they had all these writings on the wall, as you can see. And then when we head on in, you will see the area that would have looked like what their print shop looked like. So this is what it would have looked like, right? Or what it did look like. And the coolest part to me, at least, because I actually have research where I look at different older historically Black newspapers, but specifically focusing on the advertisements in those newspapers. They allowed you to get a free copy of Paul Laurence Dunbar's Dayton Tattler. So that was really nice. It said, please take a copy. We got one. I have not been able to read the article yet, but I am excited to read it. One thing I forgot to mention is that Paul Laurence Dunbar and the Wright brothers, well, one of them, I don't remember which one, they went to high school together and apparently they were cordial friends, acquaintances, however you want to put it. But they did graduate high school together, which is a pretty interesting fact. Here's the newspaper article that I was telling you about. And then after you exit this, they show more on Paul Laurence Dunbar's family. So there's his ex-wife all the way to the right, his mother to the left, and then his living descendants, or I'm sorry, I don't know if all of them are living, his descendants, sorry, in the middle. So like his nieces and nephews, things like that. He did not have any children. And then they have this collage of his career. So they talk about his life, his accomplishments, and then that door to the left, which you kind of saw, is where they show the film again. So they show the film here, but if you saw it already at the Dunbar Museum, it's kind of repetitive. You don't need to watch it again. But if you don't make it to the Dunbar Museum, you can check it out. But my suggestion is to go to the Dunbar Museum, okay? Support it, make sure they, because it less people go to that one for whatever reasons. Just make sure you go. It's free. This museum is free as well. You can't beat free. Just craft out a couple hours for this museum and about an hour or so for the Dunbar Museum. Now, this is the Wright brothers, their family. They did not have any children from my understanding. They were never married, okay? And then here is where we're heading off into another section of the museum. We are now in the parachute area of the museum. And this was both Angela and I's favorite section. There were other people in this museum, and they seem to like this area as well. They seem to have a lot of fun. The guy who was there, the volunteer, he was really helpful, very fun. Now this museum is a little more crowded than the Dunbar one, so make sure you leave some time to enjoy.
Dayton's nickname. The gem set is believed to have originated in 1845 when a report of the Cincinnati Daily Chronicle described Dayton as...
You pulled it?
No,
Oh, okay.
it. I just turned around and it was on.
Let's see how it feels.
Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment down below and let us know what you think. When you subscribe, you get consistent content from us.
So I'm sitting
Yes.
in the ejection seat. They will pull this tab or this levy here to be ejected from the aircraft.
This ejection seat was really funny because as a kid, my mom would tell us if we acted up in the car, she would hit the eject button. So we got a good laugh talking about that ejection seats actually are real. But this is being ejected from a plane or something in the air, not a car. Now, once we finished up there, the guide, he was really helpful and he allowed us to try on some of the items that were in the museum.
Yeah, so those are airports because an airport, not an airport. Because this is a free fall, those ports direct air in here and make this a rigid surface so it can be steered. Base jumping.
Okay, want me to take your purse
Yeah, I
too?
can't try it on with my purse. It's not going to be realistic.
Very good. Okay, so this is a real skydiving rig.
Okay.
All right. It's got two
Put
parachutes.
a weight on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
28 pounds.
Okay.
Oh, wow,
It's
okay.
got two parachutes, a main on the bottom, reserve on the top.
Okay.
Okay. And then when you get in the leg straps, which we're not doing, and chest strap and everything, it settles into the back pretty nice.
Okay.
This
Okay.
would be, these are custom made, and this would be a size just for you.
Okay.
Okay. Really
All right, you
cool.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this.
Uh-huh.
What'd you do?
You jumped out the plane.
What I do? I jumped out.
No, don't complicate it. What did you do?
Jump.
With?
28 pounds.
Okay. I'm
There we go.
so corny.
There we go.
That's so corny.
Did.
And here are some of the stamps we got for our passport at this museum. Like this video.
All right, y'all. It's been sweet. Check us out next week
When we out here
in these streets. Peace.